Hey, Courtney Sanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time online life and business coach as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and I do all the things, but I'm also an investor, investing for passive income. In fact, as I am recording this, I'm recording this in my new investment property that I just purchased cash, and I'm so excited and proud about it. And so in that vein, I thought it'd be perfect to talk about what does the Bible say about investing and what does the Bible say about financial freedom, because my decision to even purchase this condo was inspired by some of my favorite verses for investing in the Bible. And you might not even realize that the Bible even talks about these things. But yes, the Bible talks about a lot of things, which is why I love reading it in the morning. In fact, I encourage you to check out my video all about how to win your day as a busy woman, which you can check out right here. And I talk about the prayer and reading that I do in the morning, as well as all the other strategies that I do to get on top of my day as a busy wife and mom of 2 kids, okay? So check out that video. But what does the Bible have to say, and what is my favorite investing advice? Well, let's get into it. All right, so I have my phone here because I love the Bible app, and that's where I'm pulling my verses. But I have a habit every day where I love to read a proverb, because there are 31 proverbs in the book of Proverbs. And so if you read one a day, for the most part, each month you'll get through all the proverbs. And so once I started doing that, I started to become amazed by all of the business advice that's in the Bible, but particularly that's in the book of Proverbs, but also the financial advice and just so much that God has to say about how we structure our finances. And so one of my favorite verses, and the verse that inspired me to make this investment in this condo, actually is Proverbs 31, 10-16, and it says, "She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings she plants a vineyard." Now, most people read that verse and, they totally just brush over it, and they're not really understanding what it's saying. But I love how it talks about the wisdom of this woman and how financially savvy she was. So if you're not familiar, Proverbs 31, particularly starting at verse 10, is what a lot of us call the Proverbs 31 woman. And so it describes this amazing, virtuous woman who is great with money, she's great with business, and she's kind to her staff and her family, and she's just an all-around amazing woman, and she's just a great example for us to follow. And so in that vein, I'm like, okay, she's good at investing. What investing advice does she have? And right here it says that she considers a field and buys it. So that means she's pretty savvy at identifying profitable opportunities and profitable ventures, and that she takes her earnings and that she plants a vineyard. So she takes the earnings she gets from her profitable ventures, and it talks about elsewhere in the same passage in Proverbs about how she, deals with merchants and how she sells different merchandise. So I believe this is saying that she's taking the earnings from all of her things, not just the earnings she gets from this field that she considered and that she bought it, but just by it saying that, it shows us that she's pretty savvy and that she's good at looking at opportunities and being like, that's a profitable opportunity. I'm going to invest in that and I'm going to get a return from it. So she takes her earnings, but then she plants a vineyard. And a vineyard is really key, especially in biblical times, because a vineyard was essentially their passive income back in the day. Because when you think about it, once you plant the vineyard, it grows grapes for you in season. And so you can use those grapes to make wine, and that's how you're able to create a revenue consistently without doing a whole lot of work. Now, I know it's semi-passive because you still have to prune the vineyard and all of that, but truly wealthy people back in that day would have support staff that worked with them, or servants that worked in the home that could help prune the vineyard and again, get those grapes together, make wine and sell it and create passive income essentially for the owner. And so this verse is saying that this super savvy woman is really good at identifying profitable opportunities. She takes the earnings that she gets from her profitable opportunities and she's investing in things that are going to bring passive income. And if you don't believe me, there's another verse that talks about this, because I know some people are like, what? They have this kind of weird conflicted view when it comes to the Bible and money, and they cannot believe that the Bible would actually encourage us to create passive income. But right here in Proverbs 27, starting in verse 23, it says, "Be sure you know the conditions of your flocks. Give careful attention to your herds, for riches do not endure forever, and a crown is not secure for all generations. When the hay is removed and new growth appears, and the grass from the hill is gathered in, the lambs will provide you with clothing, and the goats with the price of a field. You will have plenty of goat's milk to feed your family and to nourish your female servants. So essentially what that is saying is many of us, when we are at the height of our careers, we think that what we're doing is gonna last forever, right? A crown doesn't last for all generations, right? Riches don't last forever. All this money you're making, everything that's coming in, you laboring in your own strength, that's not something that you're gonna be able to do forever. Everything, there's a season for everything, right? Which is what, Solomon talked about in his writings, right? So we understand that there's a season for everything. And so the Bible is saying like, hey, you might be rolling in it now and doing good and doing all this stuff, but make sure you take care to know the condition of your passive income assets, right? Because the lambs are going to provide their wool, and that's going to provide you with clothing, and the goats are going to provide milk, and that's going to feed and nourish your family. So yes, there's effort involved, and you have to tend to the livestock, and so nothing is fully passive, right? Even in our modern day age, there is no truly like totally set it and forget it passive income, but the Bible is telling you like, hey, don't be so caught up in what you're doing right now. Take care to have an eye on those assets, because those assets are going to take care of you when all of this riches and all the things that you are making starts to subside. And so we have two verses here that are essentially saying the same thing. The wise woman, she's hustling, she's out here doing all this stuff. She's making purple garments and selling her merchandise to different merchants, the Proverbs 31 woman, but she takes her earnings and she plants a vineyard so that she's creating passive income. And then ditto with that verse in Proverbs 27, we are taking an eye and looking at, okay, what are these assets that we're gonna have after our working days are over so that it can continue to provide for our family. So I don't know about you, but I think that's some great investing advice from the Bible. And so just in me reading that, I made a commitment that of the earnings that I am getting from my business, from my active income, from all the things that I'm doing, making these videos on YouTube and working with clients and selling my coaching programs, that I'm gonna make sure that I take some of my earnings and that I'm going to invest them in passive income assets so that when this is all over and I'm no longer creating YouTube videos and I'm no longer coaching clients, a crown doesn't endure for all generations. When this has subsided, I still have something that's going to provide for me and my family in the future. So isn't that some good investing advice? I figured you would enjoy that. So if you love these passive income strategies and investing strategies direct from the Bible, then you're going to love a video that I have for you. It's completely free, and it's my financial freedom formula. So you can get access to that right now by clicking the link below and downloading it. And it's gonna show you the mindset that you need to have to really understand how to create financial freedom for yourself and your family. So this is something that I've recorded, and a lot of people really enjoyed it, and it's just really gonna get your mindset in the right place. So go ahead and click the link below in order to download it. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you want even more where this came from and you can't wait until my next video, join me over on my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show, on both iTunes and Spotify. And if you can't wait for my next podcast episode, join me on Instagram, CourtneyLSanders on Instagram. In fact, leave a comment on my latest post to let me know that you saw this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.